All right, so race recap for 70.3 Maine. I've only been to Maine once before, and it was just for a hiking trip in high school. So first of all, it's just gorgeous. The course was beautiful. The river was super clean feeling. The water felt great. The roads were really good. And honestly, the temperatures were pretty great too. It didn't get too hot, so off the bat, no complaints there. But just gonna get straight to it. One of my goals going into the race for the swim was to find feet and find feet fast, to try to really, conserve some energy, but also just practice swimming on feet for pretty much the entire swim. So, there were still 60 guys who started, so still chaos and a knife fight at the very beginning, but took out pretty well, not quite as hard as I maybe should have or would have liked to, but I did find feet within, a minute, very, very quickly off the start. Unfortunately, I chose the wrong feet, so ended up on a group that was a little bit slower than I would have liked to swim, but that's something that, comes with experience and comes with practice. So I feel like the more that I race, the better I will get at figuring out where I need to be and what pack I should link onto. So at the end of the day, no complaints there. Just, something race experience that I need to have. And the only way to do that is to race. So we're getting it done. So my group came out about 2.5 minutes behind the leader. So at the end of the day, not terrible. Could have been worse. And then transition one, a little rough. It's like a half a mile straight uphill. So, got to jack the heart rate up a little bit, burn a match, running out of the river. But onto the bike, I started riding with two guys, and from the get-go, just smashing. I think my normalized power for the first half an hour was somewhere around 310 or 315 watts. So certainly higher than the effort I was expecting to put out. But another one of the goals that Matt and I set for this race was to be aggressive on the bike. So I was like, you know what, let's do it. So we rode together for about 35 miles, and then one guy split off, and it ended up just being kind of me and one other guy, but we didn't end up really working together that well. So I essentially rode alone all day, which is okay. Still set a 70.3 bike power PR, which is really exciting. It was my last race on my Cervelo, which is a little sad, but I'm very excited for the new bike coming. It's a hard course, punchy rolling hills that you just have to, kind of push a bunch of power to get through, and then, get your legs back under you on the descents. So bike split ended up being about 217, so a little over 10 minutes slower than Boulder, but with a higher power. So that should, give you a little insight into, the kind of challenging nature of that course. And, one of the other tests was to see how well I could run off the bike after putting out hopefully PR power, which I did. And the run felt the best that it has all year. And that all credit is to Matt for, switching training up. Training's been going really well. It's been a lot of run intensity, which I think is a big part of the reason why I was able to run so well off the bike. But my legs felt the best that they have all year for sure. So that was really exciting. Came off the bike with two other guys. One guy we pulled back the very, very last couple miles of the bike. And one guy started running like 5:15s off rip. Did not try to go with him because I did not think he'd be able to hold that. We dropped the other guy pretty fast. He was running somewhere closer to 7s. But another pretty honest course, rolling, and solid surface, but still just challenging. So I felt like I ran really well. I was able to pick up 8 places on the run, so ran a bunch of guys down. I think the hills got to a lot of fellas. And the run certainly felt the best that it has all year, and it feels like it is the same weapon that it was for me when I was racing age group, and that's a really good feeling to have back. So I'm excited about that. And I also raced in the new Alpha Flies for the first time. Love the shoes. They're terrific. No complaints at all. So the run really was, it was not a 70.3 or 70.3 half marathon PR for me, but I wasn't expecting it to be on that course. It was far from flat, so especially including the gigantic hill starting around mile 10. So overall, the run was spectacular. Finished the day feeling really strong, and it was my first top 25 finish. So no complaints there. Next up, we are getting into a big block for Ironman Chattanooga, which is in 8 weeks, a little less now. So stay tuned for a bunch of videos and content coming about that. As always, thank you so much. I could not do this without all of my support and sponsors, and by that I mean everyone from my family, my friends, my roommates. I got to stay with Rachel up in Maine, which was perfect. We had a really good time. And also obviously sponsors, Ragged Mountain for all my run gear, Waterfall for support and the love and just the community, Precision, these guys. I was able to hit all of my nutrition numbers without a problem, around 120 grams of carbs on the bike, and then about 90 an hour on the run. So thank you, Precision. I have not been able to tolerate that number before, and your product speaks for itself. So yeah, I mean, Fuel In, Scott, my man, you are a miracle worker. I would not be able to perform the way that I am right now without eating as much food as I am, both during and outside of training. So thank you for pushing that onto me. But it really is just a big team effort, and I'm so grateful to have such amazing support. So I was trying to keep this short, and it's 7 minutes almost already. So I'm gonna wrap it up, but like I said, stay tuned. A lot of content coming for Ironman Chattanooga, and I'm really excited to see what the rest of the year holds.